Yo, what's going on, guys? Vince Williams Jr. Almost butchered that. Jackson Hoyt from Lawrence, Kansas, USC graduate, actually, selected this guy or chose him for the Memphis Grizzlies, and now he's going to be a Memphis Grizzlies for a lot longer, as he has signed a 3-year deal. Yes, he comes at the expense of Mr. Bismack Biyombo, who we thought was going to stick around for a little longer, but Mr. Vince Williams Jr. has been playing so fantastic that Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that the 47th overall pick out of VCU in 2022 gets a 3-year, $7.9 million guaranteed contract and is believed to get the most guaranteed money coming off a two-way deal in NBA history. The Grizzlies, in a corresponding move, are waiving center Bismack Biyombo, sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He made a good impact with the franchise, and he could be brought back, as Memphis is expected to add another big on the newly available two-way contract. As you know, Vince Williams is being converted from a two-way contract to a NBA standard contract. So for me, when I look at this situation, I'm like, good on Vince Williams. Okay, if you guys have not watched Vince Williams before, he is an absolute animal out of VCU, a guy that I've been a big fan of. And let me pull up, I don't know why his highlights won't play right now, but he's a guy that over the last few seasons, he's been just steadily improving as a guy who is able to not only play multiple positions because he's got the size, but additionally, he's been a guy who's shown the ability to guard multiple positions. He's a hustle guy. He's gritty. He's a guy who could be a wing or a forward. And with an ever, more versatile NBA, he's a guy that we've seen him in NBA games have 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. It's good. Okay. And I've been a fan of his coming out of VCU. I knew he was going to have to get a two-way because the shot, and he had to show he could be a scorer, which he has proven he can be a scorer. So for me, it's really cool. And here's his highlights. Sorry, guys, the highlights weren't pulling up for a second. But yeah, he was a prospect that came out, and he's just shown that he's really, really, really provided the size and the defense that the teams needed. And I thought he was definitely a sleeper coming out. He had a good stroke coming out of college. It was just showing that he could be a good defender and offensive player in the NBA and at the G League level. And so far in the NBA, he's a guy who's averaged in 22 minutes a night, 6 points, 37.5% from the field, but he's mainly a 3-point shooter. He does occasionally shoot at the rim. He's a good slasher and a good attacker at the rim. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and just under a steal and a block a night. And over in the G, he's a guy that I believe he's been a G League monster in the times that he has been in the G. So for me, I think when I look at a guy like he's so far this year, he's only played in 1 game, but last year he was 17-7. So again, he's a guy that is getting a well-deserved opportunity in the NBA as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. So for you guys, if you guys haven't heard of him, what is your expectations now for the team? They're probably going to go out. There's a few bigs that they can go out and get that I think they could benefit from. Now, the market for bigs right now, if you're not in the NBA coming out of college and you don't get a two-way, it seems like you're going to Europe more and more often. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just because in the middle of the season when you need a big guy, it's a little harder for the NBA teams to find developmental guys. You're usually just hoping that there's a vet out there like the Bismack Biyombos of the world. And if you look at Hoops Hype's centers available right now, okay, their top centers available as of right now while we're making this video: Nerlens Noel, Dwayne Dedmon, Kem Birch. That you can't bring him on a two-way. You could bring Kai Jones. Are we going to bring Kai Jones on a two-way, ladies and gentlemen? Will we get a Kai Jones return in the NBA? I actually know what's wrong with him, and I can't really share that publicly. I have shared it. It's mental health, but I can't tell you specifically what the mental health is. But yeah, I think it's a great story to see. Taj Gibson's out there, Derek Favors. None of those guys are going to be on two-ways because you have to be 3 years of service most, and all those guys are over it. So let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys expect? So the Memphis Grizzlies signed Vince Williams Jr. to a 3-year, $7.9 million deal. And I think it's a great story. I think he's going to be an impactful guy for them. How impactful will it be? Like, will it be game changing? Who knows? But I think it's fun to see that this is going to be a interesting with how the Grizzlies are going to utilize their roster space. I think that's the more interesting spot because the depth chart now is a lot. It's not going to be different, but it's just going to be for them. They're going to be a little bit short on big guys. And I know that as the season has progressed, Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama have held it down, and they do have Gigi Jackson, and Xavier Tillman's done a good job too. They're down though Steven Adams, Brandon Clark. I personally believe, bringing Vince Williams, a great power forward. He can play small forward. He's a combo forward. It's a good fit right there. So I think personally it makes sense why they did this, and that Vince was a deal that if they didn't do this, they were going to be missing out on potentially a player that somebody could poach from them in terms of next offseason. And maybe it could have been his representation was saying, hey, this guy needs to get a deal. So that also could be a factor. And for me, I'm definitely excited to see how much of an impact he'll have for this team. And will you see the contract through? That's always an interesting one when you look at it, because a lot of times when you see these deals go down, some of the guys don't always make it through these deals. I mean, Kenny Chandler didn't even see the end of his deal through his rookie year. So, hey, I wanna hear your guys' thoughts. If I'm wrong, okay, maybe if I'm wrong, I bet I am. But Vince Williams Jr. is a great signing. I'm excited for it. You guys should be too. He's a guy that I think is going to stick around for a while in the NBA, and he's just got a good player, gritty, got good energy, and I think that it's just a good story. If you guys haven't fallen out of VCU, second round pick, shout out Jackson Hoy for getting him or choosing him for the Memphis Grizzlies scouting department, as he's a scout there. Low key, he's the role model for us. We're like the same age too, so it's kind of funny that I say that. Also, I'm trying to find like a good Vince Williams Jr. picture, and let me tell you, a lot of these Vince Williams Jr. is always running. It seems like. I think I found a decent one. Here we go. We found a good one. And you're like, why do you need a good one? Well, my job, ladies and gentlemen, my job involves me doing social media for USA Today's Hoops Hype, and throwing in USA Today makes Hoops Hype sound so much better. It's dope though. I love it.